everyone. Welcome to Your Virtual Coffee, the web show which introduces you to great local businesses in the Denver metro area. I am so excited about today's show because my guest today is my friend, Jenn Marshall Green. She is the CEO and brain coach with Sphere Education. With master's degrees in both psychology and communication with a focus on neurology, she helps people of all ages take ownership of their brains. By understanding the biology, neurology, psychology, and sociology of our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, we can take control of our brain and our life. Well, I don't know about you, but that sounds like a lot of fun for me. So with that being said, Jenn, welcome to my show.
Thanks, Gina. I'm super excited to be here.
Now, I know a lot about you because we're friends, but I'd like for my audience to get to know you a little bit.
Okay.
So I did a little digging. I was looking around on your website, and I am very interested in someone who is on there. Could you tell us about Reggie, the support dog?
Absolutely. Reggie is probably one of my most favorite employees. Reggie is a 15-year-old. It's hard to imagine that he's getting that old, but he is a 15-year-old Shar-Pei yellow lab mix. So we sort of tease him a little bit because when he sits down, he has the little muffin tops over his haunches. And he's got a lot of extra skin like between his ears and his eyes. But Reggie is absolutely our emotional support dog. He sometimes goes with us, not as much anymore now that he's getting older, but he goes with us. And most of my clients and the people that we interact with absolutely love him because he's just super chill. And he loves head scratches and ear scratches. And he's got a little nub instead of a tail. And so he loves to have sort of his back haunches scratched, but he is absolutely one of the best employees to have.
Well, speaking of employees, you kind of had a different career path when you first started in business. Would you share about that?
Absolutely. So when I first got out of college, my undergraduate degree is in business. And when I first got out of college, my career path kind of went into human resources and employee benefits. And so for like the first sort of 12 years of my career, I was doing HR functions and working with people on their benefits and sort of the medical, dental, life, disability stuff, and working with employers, all kinds of employers, and to help people kind of manage and work their way through that. And I loved it. I just knew I wanted to do something different. But I really enjoyed the HR functions. I liked meeting with people. And one of the, I think the best things about that job was that I had so many different clients and so many different companies that I worked with. And I loved learning what each one did and how they functioned and how they added to the world. And I loved getting to meet all their employees. And I really liked helping an employee understand their benefits and how to sort of navigate through their insurance, which of course is one of the most complex things and so many people don't understand. So for me, it was really great because I was able to help people understand something that was so difficult and really complicated and make it really feel kind of easy and like it wasn't this big daunting task to understand how their insurance worked. I really liked being able to help them, and especially if something went wrong or they didn't really understand, why they got a bill for $1,000 from the doctor or whatever. I really liked being able to explain that to them. So that's kind of how my career path went originally until I kind of decided I wanted to do something very different. And then that's where I ended up going to grad school again.
So how did you draw on your HR experience and life and brain coaching?
So when I decided to get into psychology, I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do, but a lot of my background as far as volunteering had gone is I had done a lot of volunteering at church, and I did a lot of volunteering with young people, so the middle school, high school, college students, and then I was a sorority advisor for 15 years, and as I was kind of going through that, and I knew I wanted to get sort of into psychology, I wanted to find ways to help people. And my whole life, I've been interested in the brain. I mean, I was actually studying the brain and neurolinguistic programming and all that kind of stuff in high school. And I did a lot of the self-help books. And so as I was transitioning and kind of deciding what I wanted to do, I was drawing from a lot of my HR, like, what did I like about being in my HR and benefits field? And I really kind of came to the fact that I really like helping people understand something that is so complex and breaking it down into sort of bite-sized pieces that they can work through and they can evaluate and kind of make their own decisions. And so it was sort of a natural fit to go into psychology, but I didn't really want to go into psychology as far as like diagnosing and treating people. I wanted to really coach and mentor and educate people on how psychology works, how their brain works, how the things that they say and think and do, how does that impact the life that they're having? And thus, we have Sphere Education and our brain coaching programs.
Would you share about one of your programs, The Emotional Life of the Female Brain?
Absolutely. So the emotional life of the female brain was sort of this like long-term brainchild that I have because being a sorority member and interacting a lot, especially in the HR field, there's a lot of women. I really understood and really, with all of my interactions with women, the thing we crave the most is to understand ourselves and each other. And the other thing that happens with women is we really need to connect. And the more I, like a lot of the schooling that I did, and then the more education I continue to get, because I'm a lifelong learner, I want to learn new things. But the more and more I was learning about this and learning about women, is we really do need to connect. We need to have other women in our lives. But then I got to look around, and especially when I work with like teenage girls, like our first instinct is to sort of tear each other down or gossip about each other. And so I really wanted to understand that and sort of shift that on its head. Instead of women sort of coming to the table with a thought process of lack, like there's not enough jobs, there's not enough time, there's not enough other women out there, there's not enough men or women to date, or whatever. What if we all came to it as there's enough, and I can connect with other women who are really like-minded, who are working on the same kind of things that I'm interested in. So the Emotional Life of the Female Brain is a website. It's sort of like an educational website, and it's a subscription service where every week we get online and I talk about a topic. I might talk about habits, or I might talk about telling your story, or I might talk about, interacting with somebody new, or there's so many different things that are sort of on the agenda about emotion and thought process and connecting and having relationships and learning about yourself. But then what we do is I do some videos, and they're, really small snippet videos. There's journal questions for the whole week. And then there's a couple of discussion questions. And what that does is allows women to connect with other women online and meet women from all over the world. We have women from all over the world on the website, and be able to connect with people that are like-minded, but have so much to offer, and really help each other explore how extraordinary we are as women, and really form sort of this larger group of women who are really there to support each other. Even if we have sort of differing opinions or different thought processes, we're all working on ourselves to get better. So that's kind of a nutshell of the female life, or the emotional life of the female brain.
Now, do you make a distinction between emotions and feelings? Or are those two terms kind of interchangeable?
They are pretty interchangeable, but we do talk about emotion as a biology, because a lot of times, especially with women, we think that, oh, you're just an emotional woman. Well, we're emotional creatures. All of us, humans, men, women, we're all emotional creatures. And one of the things that I think is really important for everyone to understand, but especially women, is emotion has biology to it. It's not just fluffy psychology. When we feel an emotion, there is a biology to it. There's a neural pathway that happens when we have an emotion. So it's not just sort of the fluffy feelings. There are truly emotion, and it's truly driven by biology. And you can't always control the emotion, but you can always control the reaction that you have when you're feeling that emotion.
So what is that issue that your ideal client that keeps them up at night, and how does Sphere Education address it? Now, you did a wonderful explanation of one of the ways with the emotional life of the female brain. What would be another example of that?
One of the other sort of not specialties, but one of the other client, I have a lot of parent clients. So the things that I think keep my clients up at night, or what brings someone to me, is they know there's something more in their life. They know that just living the life the way they're living it, the goods, the bads, the highs, the lows, the ugly, and the awesome, they know that there's something more, and that they're just missing something. They could try something new or do something new. And the way that we help is that we really teach people why they are the way they are through a lot of self-exploration. And then we offer a bunch of different tools to help them do a lot of self-exploration and then decide for themselves what's working in their life and what's not working in their life. And then how do you change those things that don't feel like this huge burden to change something? It's like, okay, well, I want to do this. I'm going to make this little teeny change in my life and try it and see if it works. So a lot of recently, it's been a lot of parenting. I've gotten a lot of parents who've come to see me, and they kind of know that they're not doing something right. And they're great parents. First of all, if you're going to come to me, or come to Sphere Education and get parent coaching, I'm going to guarantee you're an awesome parent, because you're looking to do it better. Are you totally going to mess up your kids? Yes, we all do. But in looking to do something different, or be kind of, I just want to do it better. That to me is such an indicator, both in parents and then any of my clients that come, that they're ready to do something and that they're totally awesome people. And so with a parent who comes to see me, a lot of what we do is look at the way they were raised, look at the things that impact their parenting, look at the books they've read, look at the way that they feel about a lot of different things. And then they're able to decide, once you kind of know the neurology, biology, psychology, and sociology of who you are, you can decide like, oh, hey, this doesn't work for me anymore. Or this is how I've been doing it, but I really would rather do it this way. And with that cognitive awareness, you can change that, and then you can manage the emotional reaction way better. Because as parents, we all have something that trips us with our kids. Our kids will do something and we immediately, get angry or frustrated or whatever. But when you understand why that particular thing sets you off, it's so much easier to be like, oh, wait, yep, that's setting me off. I'm going to take a deep breath and manage the emotion. Like I said, you can't always control the emotion, but you can manage the way you react. And in having that cognitive awareness of that really helps with the emotion and then the reaction. So you're not yelling anymore. You're, you're not overreacting or reacting at all. And that actually shifts. It's really interesting to watch the children shift when mom and dad aren't having their normal reaction. Kids immediately are like, whoa, what's going on? But the more we shift, the more they start to shift, and they start doing the things that we want them to do, but we're not yelling, we're not reacting, so it becomes a much calmer household. and our lives become a lot calmer as well. So,
Now, Jen, let's talk about power partners, okay?
okay.
And for our audience, power partners are those businesses who target your same ideal client, but are not your competition. For example, if you have a hairstylist and a personal trainer, those two businesses target the same ideal client, someone who wants to improve themselves in some way. And so it's a great business relationship to build because you can probably refer clients back and forth. And again, they aren't in competition with each other. They actually each want to help that client in different ways. So it's, again, a great relationship. So Jen, to understand who your power partners are, let's talk about who Spheres Education ideal client is.
So our ideal client is really someone who is looking to grow and sort of take their life to the next level. And it could be a lot of different things. It could be their parents, and they're really wanting to sort of change something in the way that they parent, or maybe, something's happened with their student or their child, and they're like, oh God, why is this happening to us? A lot of people come to us because something in their life isn't going quite right, or maybe they've been in a job for a while. I've had a lot of young people in their late sort of 20s, early 30s who've, been in the job market for a while, and they're kind of wanting to make a change, but don't quite know what to do or how to transition. So a lot of my clients are just at a transition point, or something in their life just doesn't, it's going well, it's just not going as well as they'd like. So those are the ideal clients, people who just really sort of are looking to take their life to the next level.
And want to improve themselves.
Yes. Yeah,
So,
that's kind of the requirement, is you want to improve yourself.
and so again, we could actually use the example I just gave. So someone who's maybe a hairstylist could be a good power partner for you.
Absolutely.
Or someone who deals with like personal trainers, or even someone who owns a gym. I'm also thinking, even in the family law space, family law attorneys could be a great power partner, because there's usually parenting classes that are required by the court, but also, like you said, there are parents out there that think, I want to do this better.
Yeah.
Or there are professionals who think, I want to do this better. How do I get to the next level? And that's kind of where you come in, right?
Exactly. Some of the great spaces, like you said, are people who are in an industry that's helping other people. Hairstylists, personal trainers, nutritionists. A lot of the nutritionists will find that, like, their client is stuck for some reason, and a lot of times it has to do with sort of the way they were raised and their thought process around different things. Other places that are great for me are other people looking to help different spaces. So like someone who like sells to schools, or is trying to, or works with schools. I'm a great resource, and I'll happily go into a school or a parent teacher community association and talk about why teenagers are teenagers. Why are they all crazy?
Volume 1.
Yes. So, it's so, people who work with schools, or I've also worked a lot with like HR professionals that have sort of target identified, maybe a couple of, employees that are high performing, but maybe get in their own way in as far as being able to get promoted. I can definitely help with that. Maybe meet with them just a couple of times to talk about like what gets in their way before they, make it to that next level promotion. So yeah, those are definitely some of those people. Anybody that's, works with parents in general, that's always a great space for me. Or people who work with, I love the 20 to 30 something as they're learning life. they have so many questions that no one's ever answered for them. So that's always a good space too.
So with all those different types of power partners, and I'm sure some of you are watching right now, want more information on how to contact Jenn, what is the best way for them to reach out to you?
The best way to reach out is you can go to sphereeducation.com, or you can email me. It's just jen@sphereeducation.com. And I'm always happy to, sit down and talk to somebody and just sort of walk through what options they might have, willing to have coffee, Zoom, however people want to meet, whatever makes them comfortable. Always happy to sit down and talk to somebody.
Jenn, any last thoughts?
Geez, there's so many, but I would say, the thing I kind of always tell people is most of us spend our whole lives renting our brains, because, there's so much.
That's such a great analogy.
we rent our brains. We don't own our brains because we think that so much of that we can't change the things. Oh, this is how my life always goes or whatever. But truly what I help people do is shift and take ownership of your brain, because then you're in charge and your brain is not. And your brain, if given the opportunity, will live in its autopilot indefinitely. It does not like change. It doesn't like to shift. But when you sort of take ownership and you stop renting your brain, your life becomes very, very different. And you can pretty much be, do, and have anything you want.
Well, thank you, Jenn. I think that's such a great analogy, renting your brain. I'm probably going to use that in the promotion of this episode because I love it so much. Jenn, thank you so much for coming on my show.
Thank you, Gina. It was such a pleasure.
Thank you, audience, for joining us today on Your Virtual Coffee. We could not do this show without you. Thank you for watching, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which surprisingly is called Your Virtual Coffee. On our show, we love business professionals. So business people, let's talk. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Your Virtual Coffee is sponsored by Ventola Law. Ventola Law, mediation and legal representation at an expert level. You can find them at ventolalaw.com. Thanks for joining me today. For more information on Your Virtual Coffee, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and wait for it, our website at yourvirtualcoffee.com. Thanks again for watching, and have an incredible day.